Okay, so you're thinking about taking your business to Taiwan.
That's awesome.
It's a really smart move, but I know it can be overwhelming.
Absolutely.
Trying to make sense of a whole new market, new laws.
Right.
Especially the HR side of things.
Yeah. And that's where a PEO can really make things easier.
A PEO?
Yeah, stands for Professional Employer Organization.
Oh, okay. I've seen that.
It's like having a partner in Taiwan.
Gotcha.
Someone who knows all the ins and outs of HR there.
So you can actually focus on your business.
Exactly.
Basically, they kind of become your HR department in Taiwan.
You got it. They handle all the tricky stuff. Payroll taxes, benefits, all that. Making sure you're compliant with the laws in Taiwan.
Oh, man. Yeah, the laws, I've heard those can be tricky.
They can be, but that's why PEO is so valuable. They take care of it for you.
But you know what really caught my eye? It's the speed.
Speed.
Yeah, like how quickly you can be up and running in Taiwan with a PEO.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about like 5 days?
5 days.
Compared to setting up a company yourself, which could take months.
That's insane.
It's a huge difference.
So for someone who wants to expand quickly,
it's a no-brainer. A PEO can get you into the market so fast.
It's like hitting the ground running.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No waiting around, you're in business.
I love that. So, okay, we've touched on the big picture, but let's break it down. What are the actual advantages of using a PEO in Taiwan?
Okay, well, one of the biggest ones is compliance.
Compliance, right.
Taiwan's got its own set of labor laws, and you don't want to mess with those.
Definitely not.
A PEO makes sure you're doing everything by the book so you don't have to worry.
Peace of mind.
Exactly.
And it's not just about avoiding problems, it's also about saving money.
Absolutely. Think about all the time and money you'd spend trying to figure out all the HR stuff yourself.
And the potential mistakes you could make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With a PEO, you avoid all that. They're experts. They handle it all.
Like having a team of HR ninjas behind the scenes.
I like that analogy. So yeah, you save time, you save money, and it allows you to focus on what really matters.
Growing your business in Taiwan.
Exactly. You're free to focus on strategy, on opportunities, not on paperwork.
Okay, and can we just mention that speed thing again? Because
5 days.
5 days.
It's unbelievable. Right.
In today's world, that's a huge advantage.
It is. It's like a shortcut to success in Taiwan.
And another thing I've read is that you have one point of contact for all your HR needs.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one. You're not dealing with multiple people or companies. It's all streamlined through the PEO.
It makes things so much simpler.
Way simpler.
Okay, so we've talked about the benefits, the big picture.
Oh.
Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. What does it actually look like to employ people in Taiwan? What are some of the things you absolutely need to know about their labor laws?
Okay, well, first off, employment contracts.
Right.
In Taiwan, you've got fixed-term contracts, which are for a specific period,
Okay.
and non-fixed-term contracts, which are ongoing.
Gotcha.
And then, of course, there's the minimum wage.
Which is?
NT, $26,400 per month.
Good to know.
Yeah.
And what about working hours? What's a typical work week in Taiwan?
40 hours, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Pretty standard.
Yeah. But anything over that is overtime.
Overtime? And are there rules about how overtime pay is calculated?
Yeah, there are specific rules for that. It can get a bit complicated depending on when the overtime is worked.
So that's probably where a PEO like INS Global would be super helpful.
Absolutely. They can handle all those calculations for you and make sure everything is correct.
No mistakes, no problems.
Exactly.
Now, I've heard that Taiwan has some pretty good policies for family and sick leave.
They do. They're very supportive of families. For example, maternity leave is 8 weeks at full pay.
Wow.
As long as the employee has been with the company for at least 6 months.
That's amazing.
There's also paternity leave and adoption leave. So yeah, they really prioritize families.
That's fantastic. But I'm guessing there are also costs involved for employers, things like Social Security and insurance.
Oh yeah, for sure. There are several insurance schemes that employers need to contribute to.
Like?
Labor insurance, health insurance, and the pension fund.
Okay, and what's the total cost for all that?
It comes out to about 18.452% of the employee's salary.
Wow, okay, so that's a significant chunk of change.
It is. It's something to keep in mind when you're budgeting.
Definitely. So we've covered a lot here. What a PEO is,
Right.
the benefits and some of the specifics of Taiwanese labor law. It's clear that there's a lot to think about.
There is, but it's not something you have to do alone.
Right.
That's why finding the right partner to guide you through it all is so important.
And speaking of partners, one name that keeps coming up is INS Global.
They're one of the leading providers of PEO and ER services in Taiwan.
ER.
employer of record.
Okay, so it's like a PEO, but
We'll get into the differences in a bit.
but for now, INS Global, they seem to really know their stuff.
They do. What impresses me most is their deep understanding of Taiwanese labor law.
Yeah, that's essential.
They're not just offering a generic solution. They tailor their services to your specific needs.
So it's really customized.
Yes.
Okay, but what does that look like in practice? What kind of services do they actually provide?
Well, everything really. From recruitment and onboarding to payroll and compliance. They even have this really clear 4-step process for their PEO solution.
4 steps.
Yeah. First, they assess your needs.
Makes sense.
Then they provide a legal entity for hiring staff.
Okay.
Then they manage all the HR stuff.
Gotcha.
And finally, they let you get back to focusing on your business.
So basically, they handle all the behind-the-scenes stuff so you can focus on the big picture.
Exactly.
And do they have any, proof that this actually works?
They do. Actually, there's a testimonial from Manuel Ramos.
What's that?
He's the managing director of Terreo Asia.
Okay.
He used INS Global for entering the Chinese market.
Oh, wow.
And he had a great experience. He raves about their efficiency and expertise.
Well, that's reassuring to hear.
It is. It's always good to know that other businesses have had success with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I saw on their website that they have a pretty extensive FAQ section.
Oh, yeah, they do. They cover all sorts of questions about PEOs, EOs, employment in Taiwan. They really want you to have all the information you need.
Very thorough.
Yeah, they're all about transparency and making sure you feel comfortable.
So if someone's listening to this and they're thinking, okay, this sounds great, but I still have some questions.
The best thing to do is just reach out to INS Global.
Talk to them directly.
Exactly. They're happy to answer any questions you have and help you figure out if they're the right fit for you.
So contact INS Global today and tell us about your expansion project.
That's right. They're ready and waiting to help you make your move to Taiwan a success.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about PEOs.
Right.
But I know there's another term that gets thrown around sometimes. EOR, employer of record.
Yeah, that one comes up a lot.
Are those the same thing?
Well, they're definitely related, and people do use the terms interchangeably sometimes.
Which I get can be confusing.
For sure. So the main difference is who's actually employing your staff in Taiwan. With a PEO, your company still has the employment contract with the employee, but the PEO handles all the HR stuff.
Right.
With an EOR, the EOR actually becomes the legal employer of record.
So they take on that whole role.
Exactly. They manage the entire employment relationship.
So with a PEO, you're still the employer, but with an EOR, they are?
Yeah, that's the gist of it. But honestly, in practice, it can get a bit blurry.
Oh, how so?
Well, depending on the specific services and the local laws, sometimes a provider might offer both PEO and EOR solutions.
So it's really important to understand what you're getting.
Absolutely. You want to make sure the solution aligns with your needs and goals in Taiwan.
Right. So going back to INS Global, what makes them stand out from other PEO or EOR providers? We've talked about their expertise, but is there anything else?
Well, besides their knowledge of Taiwanese labor law, which is crucial, I'd say their efficiency is impressive.
In what way?
They have that streamlined 4-step process we talked about.
Right.
It gets you up and running fast and minimizes headaches.
Because time is money.
Exactly. And they also offer a wide range of services. Recruitment, onboarding, payroll benefits, compliance, you name it.
So it's a one-stop shop.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so they've got it all covered. But let's dig a little deeper into those Taiwanese labor laws. We touched on working hours, but can you expand on that? What about overtime?
Sure. So the standard work week in Taiwan is 40 hours.
Right.
But overtime is common. And the good news is their Labor Standards Act is clear about overtime pay.
It's good to hear.
Yeah, it could get complicated otherwise. The overtime rate depends on the number of hours worked and whether it's a workday or a rest day.
Oh, so there are different calculations.
Exactly.
So again, having a PEO like INS Global, who knows all that, would be helpful.
It would. They can make sure you're paying your employees correctly and avoiding any issues.
And speaking of things that could be stressful, what about sick leave and annual leave? What are the rules there?
Well, Taiwan's Labor Standards Act is actually quite generous when it comes to leave.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For sick leave, employees get 1 day per month for their first year.
All right.
And that goes up to 30 days per year after 10 years with the company.
So the longer they're there, the more they accrue.
Exactly.
What about annual leave?
It starts at 3 days after 6 months of service.
Okay.
And it increases gradually based on their length of service, up to 30 days per year.
Wow. So pretty decent benefits.
Yeah, they're good. And again, it's important to have a PEO who understands those regulations.
Right. They can make sure you're providing the right entitlements.
Exactly. It's not just about following the law. It's about being fair to your employees.
Now, besides sick leave and annual leave, are there other types of family leave, like paternity leave or adoption leave?
Yes, definitely Taiwan has those too.
That's great.
Yeah, they have paternity leave, adoption leave, even leave for family caregiving and bereavement.
Wow.
The details vary, but overall, they have a good system to support employees and their families.
It sounds like they really prioritize work-life balance.
They do. And this is another area where a PEO like INS Global can be really helpful. They can guide you through the specifics.
Make sure you're doing everything right.
Exactly. And help you create policies that are fair and competitive.
So it's not just about the legal side, it's about building a good work environment.
Absolutely. A supportive workplace is a productive workplace.
Now, we talked before about employer contributions and how those are a big cost in Taiwan.
Right.
What exactly do those contributions cover?
Right. So employers in Taiwan contribute to labor insurance,
Okay,
which covers things like work-related injuries and unemployment.
gotcha.
Then there's health insurance, which provides access to health care.
Right.
And finally, there's the pension fund for their retirement.
So it's a pretty comprehensive system.
It is.
Yeah.
And those contributions, as we said before, can add up.
Yeah, it's a significant percentage of the salary.
It is. So it's essential to factor those costs into your budget early on.
Because they're not optional.
Nope. They're required by law.
And this is another area where a PEO can be helpful,
Absolutely. They can handle all those calculations and payments for you.
so you don't have to stress about it.
Exactly. You can focus on your business knowing that the financial side is taken care of.
Okay, so we've talked about INS Global's expertise, their efficiency. What else makes them a good partner?
Well, one thing is their global reach.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
They don't just operate in Taiwan, they're in over 100 countries.
Wow. So if you're thinking about expanding beyond Taiwan later on,
They can help you with that too.
that's amazing. So you have one partner for all your global HR needs.
Exactly. And they have a great reputation for client satisfaction.
What do you mean?
They really go the extra mile to understand your needs and customize their services. It's not just a transaction.
It's a partnership.
Exactly. They want to build a long-term relationship with you.
That's great to hear. So they're focused on making the whole process smooth and stress-free.
That's their goal. And that peace of mind is so valuable when you're expanding internationally.
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot here. PEOs, EORs, Taiwanese labor law. I think our listeners are starting to get a good idea of what it takes to expand to Taiwan.
Yeah, I think they are. And it's clear that a PEO like INS Global can make that process much easier.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You have the knowledge, the experience, and they're committed to helping you succeed.
Exactly. They're your guide, your problem solver, your partner in expansion.
And that's a powerful message. Don't try to do it all yourself. Find a partner who can support you.
Couldn't agree more. Expansion can be daunting, but with the right partner, it can be incredibly rewarding.
Speaking of the right partner, let's remind our listener how they can get in touch with INS Global.
Absolutely. If you're ready to explore those opportunities in Taiwan, contact INS Global today and tell us about your expansion project. They're ready to answer your questions and help you make your dreams a reality.
So to wrap things up,
Yeah.
if you're serious about Taiwan, a PEO like INS Global just makes it so much easier.
It really does all that stress and paperwork.
Right. You can actually focus on growing your business, making those connections.
It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.
Exactly. And with INS Global, it's not a pipe dream.
No, it's a real possibility. They've got the knowledge, they've been there.
They know the ropes.
They do, and they're invested in you.
I like that. So if you're ready to take that leap into the Taiwanese market,
Don't wait. Reach out to INS Global today.
let them know what you're thinking, what your vision is.
They'll be your guide.
That's it for our deep dive on expanding to Taiwan. We hope this helped.
Thanks for listening.
And good luck with your expansion.